I'm going to be the slide runner then. Hey, let's see if I can click to the next one. There we go.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for episode 2 of Capital Conversations. Um, hopefully it's a decent time for everyone else because it's super early in the morning for me, about 3:30 a.m. I am Faya Webb, founder of Leaving a Legacy Investments, a company I started to help myself and others break generational curses, such as poverty and lack, and also to educate myself and others on building and leaving a legacy in real estate via real estate projects. I will turn it over to my lovely co host to introduce themselves. I have Cindy.
Yes, I'm Cindy Byer, and my company is Emerald Peak Solutions. Um, my slogan, I guess you could say, is building wealth under your roof, um, because that's what we're here to do, to talk to you a little bit about, but also tonight we're talking about goal setting. Um, but I like to help people create passive income under their roof, um, so that it benefits them. So that's what I do. And I've been in real estate for about 30 years with a little bit of this and that. That's just a little bit about me. Brianna, did you want to talk next?
Sure. My name's Brianna. I have a company called Soul Investor, and essentially it's just as the slogan states, helping you create mind and time freedom. So a lot of people are like cluttered in their mind and they have a lot going on and it's hard for them to shift their perspective. So just helping you shift perspective and obviously time freedom through multifamily investing. So that is me, short and sweet. We'll hand it back over to Faya.
Short and sweet. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to set actionable goals, take steps to achieve them, and how to stay focused and track progress along the way. Of course, there's several different ways to do this. So we are going to discuss a few and also wrap it into how you use those to set and achieve your real estate goals. We're about 2 weeks into the new year. So we want to start with focus and intention so we can clearly define where we want to be and make sure we get there within a time frame that we set for ourselves. So let's explore how we can make a roadmap to get to our target goal and drive success, not only in real estate, but in all areas of our lives. So, Todd Snelling, who is on here, sent me an episode of a podcast called The Powerless. It was only 20 minutes, but it made a huge, huge impact on me, personally and professionally. So Andy Frisella, who is slide Brianna, yes, Andy Frisella, who does this MFCEO project, he breaks down achieving success to winning each and every day, one by one, each single day. So, in order to do that, you need to work towards your goals. And a method that I use in my 9 to 5 is SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, when you have a goal, make it specific, make sure it's clearly defined, it's not super broad all over the place. Which makes it difficult for you actually to achieve the goal, right? Because there's too much ambiguity. Measurable, make it quantifiable, like generate X amount of money in equity flipping 3 houses versus saying, I want to make a lot of money doing something in real estate, right? Like really measure it out so you have a target that you can identify. Also, make it achievable. You want to say you want to make X amount flipping 3 houses. However, do your resources allow you to achieve obtaining those three houses, or do you already have those three houses that you're able to work on and then flip, right? You have to keep it within your means. You don't want to set targets. You don't want to set yourself up for failure from the beginning, right? You want to set targets you can actually reach and grow from there. Make them relevant to your larger goal, which we will talk about how to set those in a little bit. And then time bound, set a time to it, because if not, you constantly move the goalposts and give yourself all the time in the world to achieve it and kind of never get to it. So making smart goals helps you kind of just bring it into something that you can achieve, and again, removes all the ambiguity. You know where you're trying to go, and then you can start with a plan on how to get there. So um with that being said, how do you obtain your daily goal, right? Break it down into manageable steps to get there. So the power list that Andy Frisella speaks of, it it gives you instruction to create a list, a daily list. So you have 5 tasks to complete daily. You write them down. I know he keeps a notebook. You can write them down on index cards, but write them down on something that you can keep so you have them for a reference to go back to. So only 5, which seems like a small number to fit in a day, but days are very busy. And depending on what those goals are, sometimes you may not hit 5. You don't want to set targets that you absolutely can achieve. So 5 is an achievable number, right? So you make your list, you write them down, you wake up in the morning, you know what your 5 tasks are, and those are the things that you have to complete each and every day. Once you complete a task, cross it off the list. When you're done with all 5, like you can write like I won today. You've won that particular day, right? And what this does is those wins are small encouragements to help you keep moving, to keep you motivated towards your goal, right? You feel like you're accomplishing something, I've done good, I can do this, I can keep it moving. So you develop your confidence in achieving your goal and kind of increases your drive to work towards the goal, right? Because you feel like you're winning, you have success at this. Um, so let's say one of your goals is to purchase a property in 8 months, right? You create daily tasks like analyze 2 properties. And so doing that every day, you're bound to find a property that the numbers work, that it's a good deal, and it's something for you to move forward with. So within 8 months, you're bound to find more than one property, and that'll help you to hit your goal. So once you do this weekly, track your progress, right? I'm sure there'll be days I won't speak for everyone, but I will speak for me. There are always days where I do not accomplish everything on my task list. So in reviewing it, you can kind of see, let's say each week, one task, like reviewing 2 properties doesn't happen, then maybe you want to scale it back to 1, but you know where you need to adjust it, right? Because you have a visual representation of what you're doing, not doing, etc. So at that point, you can say, all right, I'm not accomplishing this task consistently. Let me see if I can adjust it and make it something, scale it back to something that I actually can achieve. Or if it's something that then becomes like a habit for you and you don't need a reminder, you can cross that off and make room for another task, right? So the idea of this, again, increase your confidence, increase your drive. You get the feeling I'm being successful, I'm moving towards my goal. It'll start to change your habits and your productivity. And it's a method that I was just introduced to, but I'm gonna start using it, and I'll be happy on these capital conversations to share my successes and any areas that I'm actually not achieving. So with that, I will turn it over to Cindy.
just reading
Yeah, they were
your
way behind. Sorry.
link here. That's okay. No, I wanted to see what it said. So we are here tonight to talk about goals. And one of the things that Faya, Brianna, and I, and even Todd have been doing is meeting and discussing the 12-week year. I don't know if all of you have heard of this, but it's a book that really pushes you to reach your goals because it moves you from 12 months to basically 12 weeks is your year. So these are some of the things that I have gotten out of the book so far, and I plan to use them to help me reach my goals in real estate. One of the things that the author points out is, why do some people seem to accomplish so much while others can't do what they really are capable of accomplishing? There's things that we sometimes know that we want to do and we're capable, but we just don't get it done. And he says, is it because these people have maybe more knowledge, or they have some new strategy or idea? Maybe we think, oh, that person has a larger network. That's why I haven't been able to achieve what I want to achieve. Or maybe they're working harder. Maybe you feel like they have some natural talent, or they're just plain lucky. Brianna, you can go on. Is it more knowledge? Is that what we need? Knowledge really is only powerful if you act on it. So if you have a great idea, it's really worthless until you act on it. And the number one thing that really makes a difference is execution. It's the single greatest differentiator. We all know that. If you don't do it, if you don't execute, it will not happen. Go ahead and go on to the next slide. Again, I already said the breakdown is in the execution. How does a new idea fail for you when another person tries it and succeeds? We see that every day. We think to ourselves, oh, this person has, 6 properties. Why didn't I do it? You think they're doing something different, or they have some grand idea. I like to use this example because I think everybody can relate, even if you're not trying to lose weight, but I just think everybody on this planet can relate to this. An example, it's weight loss. 65% of Americans are overweight, it says. So obviously it's not everybody. But does everybody know how to lose weight, right? We all know that if you take in less calories than you're exerting, you will lose weight. We also know that the healthier we eat, the more weight we'll lose, or the more we exercise, the more fit we'll be. Go ahead and turn it to the next slide, Brianna, please. No, knowledge is not the problem. It's what? Does anybody know? Does anybody want to say? Does anybody want to raise?
Discipline.
Discipline and
Execution.
execution, my new
I
favorite
remembered
word.
that from the other slide.
Yeah, it's an execution problem. So we all know how to do a lot of things, but did we execute on them? Go ahead to the next slide, Brianna. Creating greatness is not complicated, but it's also not easy. So, kind of like what Faya said earlier, let's just make every day your best, execute more effectively. Maybe get your 5 things that you're going to do today. I'm going to, reach out to 5 sellers, or I'm going to reach out to 5 people who are thinking about investing. Live the life you are capable of. We are all capable to live the life that we dream and we imagine. So imagine that and make it work, make it come true. So, and then, one of the things that we all do, we have low value activity, and it's hard to admit it, right? I know I do. And so I kind of put that at the end, but yeah, we just kind of need to get rid of that low value activity if we want to create greatness. So And maybe you need to admit it to yourself too, that I'm doing this thing that doesn't do anything for, it's doing something for me in a way, but it's not really creating the goals and the dreams that I want. So on to the next slide, please, Brianna. So in the 12-week year, it teaches you how to redefine, or not redefine, redefine. I guess I have a typo there. But you could redefine your year. It's a new word. I just made it up. So redefine your year, because we're all trapped into annualized thinking. Brianna's laughing. She's cracking up there. None of us saw that. It's funny. Um, so you're trapped into a 12-month thought process, annualized thinking. Get rid of that. It makes you think you have plenty of time. And we do, we have time. But if you really want to accomplish your goals, you need to redefine your year. In January, December looks a long way off, right? It's what is today? The 15th. And December, Christmas looks a long way off, right? But it's really going to come up quick, because by the end of January, if you're in the 12-week year and you haven't done some of the tasks you set aside to do on your to-do list, you're already behind. If you think about it, a lot of people, they perform better at the end of the year or fiscal year. If you're in a W-2 job and you have a fiscal year and they say, oh, we got to get our numbers up, by the end of the fiscal year, or we got to get them down, whichever way your business is going, you seem to perform better. So in the 12-week year, you're going to perform better in that 11th week, but you're not going to be at the end of the year. So here's the good thing about it. So you're anticipating a new year every 12 weeks. And after that 12 weeks, you can either celebrate because you achieved your goals, or maybe you're going to say to yourself, I need to try again. Let's start over. So that's one of the great things that I got out of the 12-week year, because um, if I don't get my goals in the first 12 weeks, I can reassess, I can look it over, and I could say, okay, I'm going to do it in this next 12 weeks. And I got what, I can't even hold the right number of fingers up. I have 4 chances in one year. So I just really love this book. I'm super excited about it. And it breaks down your goals too. And I think Brianna is going to talk a little bit about that, how to break your goals down. And Faya, part of what she had to say was breaking your goals down on a daily basis. So Brianna, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So as Cindy alluded to, Faya kind of talked about what are the critical steps that we need to do daily. And then Cindy broke down how we can shorten our goals from a year to 12 weeks. But obviously we're working backwards. You need a vision first before we even get to all that, right? So you need a bigger vision, and you need it to be a detailed vision. So what is your big vision? What do you want out of life? You need to dream big, because I don't know if you guys have heard of this quote. It's something about like, if I would have asked for more, I would have got more, something to that extent. Somebody can quote it for me if they know it. But anyways, that's the extent of it. Whatever you ask of life, you're going to get from life. So dream big, figure out what you want, go in detail. You need a visual. And you have to be very detailed, because it's like, think of your dream as like a GPS. If you just say, I want to go to Florida, well, where do you want to go to Florida? What do you want it to look like? What do you want the house to look like? What's your destination? You can't just put Florida in the GPS. That's like a huge state that could take you 8 hours either left or right. So you need to get very detailed on what you want. So just creating that vision. And then why do you want that? Why do you want that vision? Why is that important to you? For me, I got into real estate, and I'm learning real estate and networking and doing all of this because I want to break generational poverty. I want to break that cycle. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I want to be able to pass things on to my kids. So sometimes we get caught up in that big vision. We have all these things, but also, why are you connected to that? What's your emotional connection? Because eventually times are going to get tough. You're going to have to keep persevering. You're going to have to be like, what am I doing this for every day? And you need to be able to go back and look at that. And then the last thing, what if I don't know what I want? I feel like I've been there too. I was like, what do I want? Like society ingrained in my mind that I should go to school, go to college, graduate, get a 9 to 5. And I did all those things. And then I was like, that's it. Now what? What do I do now? What do I want? And I didn't know what I wanted for a long time. It took a lot of self-reflection, a lot of internal reflection. So all I can say is your heart knows what it wants. You just have to bring it to your conscious. So if you don't know what you want, I would just start either praying, meditating, journaling, and asking yourself questions like, what lights me up? Like when I think of this outcome, like what gets me excited? What makes me happy? What am I doing when I get lost in time? Another thing is like, what do other people come to me for? And I give away freely. What are some things that I help people with freely? So yeah, a lot of journaling questions. If you need more questions on journaling, just let me know. Happy to help there. So that's our big vision, right? Just having the big picture, being in detail, knowing your why, and then asking yourself more questions if you need to dig deeper. All right, so this goes to your vision and creating a visual, right? So your mind needs to see things. It needs repetition. You need to be able to look at it. You need something tangible so you know where you're going. So I would suggest doing a vision board. This is mine. It's very personal. I'm sharing it with you guys, but hey, hopefully it gives you an idea of a digital vision board. I have it on the background of my phone. Like literally every time I open my phone, I see it. Like I know what I want to work towards, and I know why I want to work towards that. And then another thing, speaking of Todd sent us a little snippet from Steve Harvey. I know everybody loves Steve Harvey, and he talks about writing down like 300 goals and reading it daily and check it at the end of the year, and eventually you'll have it. And essentially what Steve Harvey is saying is repetition. Like you need to build those like neural pathways in your mind in order for it to connect and come to fruition. Well, if I could, I'm a bad slide decker for myself too, so don't feel bad, ladies. Sorry. All right. So like reconnecting it. So we have our big vision, right? And then we want to break it down into how can we accomplish that big vision? How do we break it down further? So that goes into the 12-week year that Cindy just went over. So essentially we're collapsing the time by, oh, I think it says redefine here instead of redfine. Yay. That would have been my fault too. I'm going to take the typo errors too, guys. Sorry. Anyway, so now each week represents a month of progress. So that shifts things, right? When you're like, okay, well, I can't waste a day because then a day is a week. If you get it. We're collapsing time. And then we need focused execution. So what are those critical actions that are going to get us our biggest results? Create a detailed plan for each week and focus on measurable outcomes. I went over that. Like, what are your SMART goals? I need to do that. I need to write that out myself, the SMART goals. And then time management and accountability. So just making sure, like Cindy said, you're concentrating on the most important tasks that are going to get you to where you need to go. You're not focusing on these low value activities where you're just going to be spinning your wheels and not getting any results. Because we've all done it and we all do it. And we just have to kind of reassess and figure out if something's working and if it's not. So that's a part of like the accountability, the measurability, the SMART goals. This is just an example. Just wanted to give you guys, it's a lot of words. You don't have to take your time to read it, but essentially it's like 5 things that you can focus on and what that looks like. So doing some morning alignment, working on the multifamily investments, making sure your body is healthy, having accountability, and doing some reflection. All right. And then this goes back to Andy. Somebody help me pronounce his last name. How do you say his last name?
I say Priscilla, but I could be 100% wrong.
Okay. Because I don't know how to pronounce it, but we'll say Priscilla. That's how it's pronounced. I don't know. Anyways, so we're breaking it down from the big vision to the 12-week year to our daily task. and we're thinking of a day as a week. So you want to accomplish as much as you can in a day. So you're going to focus on 5 critical tasks daily. And then you're going to put that big W on it. So that way you feel accomplished. That helps you build confidence. It helps you build momentum. It makes you feel good. After you do that day in and day out, you're going to start forming new habits. You're breaking old habits and you're focusing on your new habits and who you want to become instead of letting your mind take over. You know how that works. And you're doing the same old thing. So, anyways, you're starting to become the person that you're supposed to be, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in a year. I would definitely recommend you guys find that video because he has a lot of good points himself. All right. So we go from vision to the 12-week year to the day. And then if a day is a week, our moments count, right? They count anyways. We can't get our moments back. The only time we have is now. So the first thing is like becoming aware and present in each and every moment. It's kind of hard because sometimes our brains like start running and we keep thinking of what we have to do in the future. Oh, what happened yesterday? What do we need to do? No. No. You're stealing away the moment. What can you do to observe your thoughts now and figure out what you can do now? This focusing on now helps you break away from the negative thinking of what could go wrong, what did go wrong, etc. Just focus on now and what you can do now. The next thing is just surrender, like accept it as it is, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't feel good. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. You just have to accept it. We can't change the past. Focusing on the past, all it does is give us regret, depression, so many things that the doctors prescribe to us, but it's really just an emotional thing. That's another story. Or if we're focusing too much on the future, it's creating a whole bunch of anxiety. So just surrender, be okay with where you are, and then focus on the present moment. It's where true peace and fulfillment are found. The past is the past. They're all mental constructs. The future is the future, but the present is just where life unfolds. So it's all we have. What are we all going to do in this very moment?
What if you're a squirrel like me and you can't
All
stay
right.
focused?
It's a little interactive. So we have an example of what it would look like to acquire 200 doors in 2025. But I would love to hear about somebody's vision on here, what their goal is, how we can help them break that down, how we can kind of make this interactive. And we can use this as our framework. But if somebody wants to volunteer, then we can all, Faya, me, and Cindy can kind of help put something together for you guys. Anybody? No
Gotta have
takers.
somebody out there who has goals.
You guys
It's
have no
January.
goals.
You still have time. Oh, look, Frank.
Oh, Frank has the goal. Frank has the goal. What's your goal, Frank?
Okay.
Tell us your vision first. Let's start with the big vision.
My big vision
Yeah,
is, well, first of all, I have 5 dogs here. So if I instantly
that's
hit mute, it's because somebody came to the door.
okay. That's okay. That's no problem. I understand. I have kids that run in my background. So dogs, kids, it's okay.
I have a vision plan, actually a full executive summary plan to build what I call comparable to multifamily. Um, I got it designed for 200 units. This is a new development from the ground up. The difference is I'm renting RV boat spaces as opposed to people living in the houses. So the same concept, multiple units, monthly rent. I can change out a unit on a vacancy literally within 30 minutes. No repairs, no nothing. So, but I'm not here to compare the two, but that's the point that I'm coming from. So my vision is to get it over the start line this year. I have the executive summary, I have the construction numbers, cost, I got my pro forma. I'm ready to go. I put together what I'm offering to investors. I'm going to syndicate to investors through a GP LP scenario. And that's my focus. That's my goal. And today I got on late coming from another meeting. I jumped in and I heard the term for the very first time, the 12-week year. And that was a revelation to me.
Beautiful.
Just the idea of condensing everything down. And I love that fact, especially because I'm further along than a lot of people starting, wanting to build a dream. I've been building a dream for years. So I'm a little bit beyond that part, but now I'm in the action. I'm in the, I got to get there. I got to get it started right now. So I'm very thankful for that. But that's my plan. That's
I
where
love that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few clarifying questions. So you currently have an RV park that you're turning into a new build. Did I hear that correctly? No.
No, I'm taking vacant
Vacant.
land that I am going to long-term ground lease and develop into an RV boat storage, not an RV park. I live in Vegas. It's hot, it's sunny. People need a place to park their RVs and boats. In the part of the valley we are living in, 90% of all the homes built in the late 1990s, early 2000s all have homeowners associations, which do not allow for RVs and boats parking. So unless you have a half-acre estate or a very high-end home that has an RV garage, you can't park it there. And of all the self-storage facilities in Las Vegas, the RV boat covered parking has a constant average occupancy of probably 99%. Most of them have waiting lists to get on from there.
So
Okay,
do you,
so
go ahead,
go ahead,
Brianna.
Cindy.
You go.
No, go.
Brianna. I was just gonna,
Cindy, go. I'll stop.
we're so excited, Frank, because you stepped up and told us your plan. Do you already own the land?
No, it's a long-term ground lease,
Okay.
which has been my biggest stumbling block. I do commercial real estate. I've been in commercial real estate since 2000. I've brokered a lot of deals, developed other properties. This unique challenge is that it's a long-term ground lease. Most typical real estate investors say, well, if you don't own the land, I'm not interested in it. And that makes absolutely no sense to me on this particular use, because my goal is to pass this on to my grandkids. So I'm not planning on selling it. If I were to build it to maximize its occupancy, to build the NOI, to sell it at a cap rate, then yes, that makes sense. But
Are they
that's
saying
not,
why they don't want to do it with you not owning the land? Like, is there a particular reason?
it's ignorance is probably the biggest thing. They say, well, we don't own the land. I'm like, well, according to working with the SBA, working with the USDA, which I did another deal a long time ago on a ground lease. If you have control of the property for 40 years, you pretty much feel like you own it. According to them, they own it. The negative part is, and the real risk is when it's being developed, if it should go into default, whoever the lender is or the investor is, it's not secured by the ground
Okay.
that it's on. That's the one negative part, which I have mechanisms to protect against that.
So is one of your goals to mitigate
But again,
the issue you're having with having people look at you as not the owner as an issue for you moving forward?
say that again, the first part.
So one of your goals, right? If we can try to bring this back into like setting a goal and how to
Okay, goals.
overcome it.
Yes.
Like, is one of your goals how to mitigate the issue of people, how people perceive you renting versus owning the land?
That's the biggest part. Yes, I would say that's a big goal, is to find a way to get them to understand. Because in my business plan, they're going to be on a cash out refi after 3 years of operations. They're getting all their money back. So their risk is gone and they're going to be guaranteed a certain return, depending if they're a co-general partner or an LP partner. So they don't have to worry about what's going to happen in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years down the road. That's where I got to get them to understand and get over the risk of it while it's under construction, which that I can easily show and do through third-party voucher systems, showing where the funds are going to. Money can be basically deposited in an escrow account where the draws come in once the work is proven, things have been done. That's the real risk.
Okay.
At that point, everybody gets the concept and the idea, and they agree that, wow, there is a shortage in that space.
So
Okay,
I
so
did drop the link for the Steve Harvey video that Brianna mentioned. I'm going in the chat. I'm gonna drop the link
Okay.
for the power list as well, which you may have missed because you said you jumped on late, and also for
Yeah.
the 12-week year. And maybe a side call or conversation, we can look at that and see if there's a way we can use those tools to
Okay.
help you reach that goal.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have a
I'm going to put you back
goal
on mute.
they're trying to get to?
Well, okay. I would just like to say I have a goal that I'm trying to reach. However, it's not really in real estate. I'm actually trying to start a travel company. And taking all the classes and getting the certifications and joining the different airlines. It's a lot of work. So I need to figure my way into taking this step by step. Like I'm hearing you say, like 5 things a day, taking small steps, and I think that's what I need to do because I'm feeling really overwhelmed with all the information I'm receiving at one time. So there's a little goal I have. I'm working on
that's
it.
a good goal.
Good. I think that's good.
Yeah, you have your
Yeah.
big vision. Okay, so maybe let's hear everybody's goals and then maybe we can just kind of walk through how we break it down. This will be our example. Does anybody else have a goal? Maybe we can all share what our goals are. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, so Madeline and Frank. All right. So if you're looking at the travel company, if you're looking at taking that land and wanting it to go into the space of renting it out, you have your big visions, right? So then you have your whys behind it. Frank, I heard you say to pass on to your grandkids. That I assume that's your why. Madeline, do you have your why?
Yes, my why is I'm retired and I would like to travel cheaply.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay.
I want to
Yes.
second her traveling cheaply because she's my mom and I pay for most of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes fire freezes.
Yes.
It's my lovely
You
connection.
frozen fire.
She will come back.
But I think she's